Welcome to the post-game version of Commandos TV. I'm Will McClure, alongside Craig Eagles and head coach Jeff LeBlanc of the DF Commandos. Commandos winning on home ice in their season opener here tonight over the Metro Shipbuilders by a score of 5-4 in a shootout. And Jeff, let's just quickly get an overview and your thoughts on the game. It was a game with a lot of momentum swings and certainly an opportunistic Shipbuilders team against a no less opportunistic team in your Commandos. Let's get just an overview on how you saw things shake down.
Well, I think the first period we really took it to them, and I think the shots showed that with 19-4. You know, I was talking to a few of the assistant coaches that we have, and I never remember a game in my hockey experience anyway where you start off a game 19-4 and you're down 3-0 going into the second period. Like I said, I've never seen that before, but the boys battled back. They showed a lot of character. It's easy to get down in those situations, especially when you take it to the other team. You know, like I said, 19-4 is pretty lopsided. So it's easy to get down in those situations, but the boys didn't. We battled back. We had a strong first part of the second period, and we kept going from there. I thought overall 60 minutes we played well. Yeah, we had a few mental breakdowns, but overall I think it was really good.
You played that top line of Cahill, Murray, and Chase on quite a bit.
Yeah.
Were you worried that they have lots in the tank because they were out there for their shift time was a little bit too long? So
I think sometimes they do need to shorten it up a little bit, but you know, they're in good shape. We had a hard training camp. We stressed a lot of conditioning in training camp, so I wasn't worried as far as fatigue went. They do need to shorten up their shifts a little bit, but you know, it's early part of the year. Like I said, it's still early, so we'll work on that as the year goes on.
They were massive for you tonight too.
Oh, huge.
They played very, very well.
They're a line that definitely needs to be big for us. The second line as well. You know, I call them first and second, but any given night they can be first or second with Lang and Newcomb and Blanchard. I thought they had a good game as well. You know, if you call them the second line, I don't, but you know, some people would. But I think they had a solid game as well. Even, you know, the Simpson played very well tonight. Bernier as well, and Dallaire, and then Cody Taker and Alex Patoine, they played very good in the PK. So overall, it was a great team effort from really start to finish.
From the back end. You're getting a lot of contribution from your back end offensively, and McDonald was solid tonight. Yeah,
McDonald's a very good hockey player. He got to try it with the Sea Dogs this year, and there's no doubt why he got it. Very solid offensively, plays well on his own end. Clark had a very good game as well tonight. Gallant, Martin, also very solid, and Belleville played very, very well. That was one of the better games I've seen Belleville play since training camp, really. He's in your face, he's all over the ice, but in a good way. He's sound back there, so really our whole defense played pretty well.
Just to touch on one thing, and I know you sort of run the gamut on, you know, who was in the lineup tonight, but you know, out of those players, there's a good number of guys like, you know, Cody Taker or Matt Bernier, just to name a few, McCarthy, Paul, Julian Belleville, who, like you say, I agree, had an excellent game. Having him, and even to have him in there that late in the tie game, it just shows what you thought of his game tonight. What was the message to these guys who were playing their first game at this level going into tonight? What did you and the staff have to say to them? Whatever you said, it sure looked like it worked on the case of a lot of players.
Yeah, we told them, you know, obviously you're going to have some nerves your first game junior A, and to be honest with you, I was a little nervous before the game, and I've done this a few times before. So, and even sitting on the other side as a player, I knew what they felt like. Kind of loosened the mood a little bit before the game and told them all to relax out there and you know, get a big first hit, and the nerves will go away quick. And I think they did that tonight. We came out on fire in the first period. You know, obviously the score didn't resemble that, 3-0, but you know, 19-4 the shots. I thought we had a good first period, so they listened well.
What contribution has your both assistant coaches, especially Doug Dowell, having some NHL experience?
Oh, for sure. It's a huge asset for me. You know, we all work full time. Pat included, Jody as well. Jody works full time, and he's here every day doing video. He's at every practice. Doug the same way. you know, we all have jobs outside of this, and to bring those guys in for experience, for you know, maybe I can't make a practice due to work commitments. They're right there. I know practice is going to run smooth, and it's huge adding those guys. He brings so much, just on the bench, little things that, you know, he whispers in my ear. It's great to have them. It's great to have both of them, and it's great to have Jody up here doing video, because if you don't have those guys, I always said, if you surround yourself with good people, usually good things happen, and I think they do a good job here in Dieppe doing that.
One more. Wilkinson was solid tonight.
Very, yeah. You know, it's one of those games that it's tough on a goaltender. He had 4 shots in the first period, and 3 of them went in. I don't think any of them were his fault. He rebounded, he battled hard for the rest of the game, and he, you know, 3 for 3 in the shootout. You know, it shows a lot of character.
Including that big stop on Harvey, which
yes,
just catching the corner of the blocker.
That's
I
right.
wasn't even entirely sure whether he actually caught a corner for when wide. It turns out Craig says it did.
With about 3 minutes left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With that high,
it's a huge save, high shoulder, high blocker. It was a turning point really. If they score there, they probably win the game. So it was great to see him battle. The whole team battled back, and like I told them after the game, you can do a lot with character, and for the first game anyway, they showed a lot of character, so it's great moving forward.
And certainly a very good first test, of course, against this Marauders club at home tonight. The next test gets a little bit more challenging, as on Friday night here at the Arthur J. LeBlanc, you're going to be up against the RBC Cup hosts, and the team that you haven't seen in a game that mattered since Game 6 of that opening round series last year. Of course, we referred to the Summerside Western Capitals. I guess a 2-part question. What's going to be the message, especially to the returning guys in that game? And how's your just overall preparation going to be this week leading into Friday night?
Well, obviously we've got to be good in our own end, because they have a lot of offensive power. They're a very, very good team. You know, they're hosting this year. They went out and got some very, very good players. You know, I think they added six to 8 major junior guys coming from major junior. So obviously it's going to be a huge test for our young team. But like I said, as long as we keep battling the way we're battling, and we tighten up on our D zone a little bit more, you know, I don't think we can count any team out that we can come back and beat, or we can beat on any given night.
All right, very well said, Jeff. Thanks for taking the time to speaking with us after the big opening night victory here at the Arthur J. LeBlanc. Of course, the Commandos defeating the Metro Shipbuilders in a shootout by a score of 5-4. Joel Blanchard with the winning tally, the only tally in that shootout session. We'll be right back here on Friday night against the Summerside Western Capitals. That's a 7:30 start at the Arthur J. LeBlanc Arena as the Commanders look to go 2-0 on the young season. For Jeff and Craig, I'm Bill McLaren. Thank you for watching Commandos TV.